But we're like, where are you? You've disappeared. Get in.
Okay.
Okay, here we are. All right, we're on both. All right, guys, we're just trying to get our camera set up right. Hey, welcome. I'm excited. I haven't done this in a little while.
Yeah, 2020. I reckon it's 2 months.
No.
Yeah.
No, it hasn't been 2 months.
I reckon mid-December and mid-Feb.
And I reckon, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm excited anyway. It's good. It's nice to be back on air.
What are you talking about?
Okay, so guys, tonight we are talking about, it's going to be a bit of a social media debate. Let's see how that goes. We're going to be talking about whether or not social media is actually social.
Yep.
Yeah?
And you're going to be going, you're Mrs. Social.
So I'm all for social, of course.
And I'm Mr. Antisocial.
Yeah, Mark's Mr. Antisocial. So let's see how this goes. I mean, there is no denying that social media has... You know, I was just looking at some statistics, which is funny in itself because I'm really not a numbers girl. But 3 billion people, that's about 40% of our population is using social media. So, you know, they're the facts. Whether it's social or not, that's to be disputed. But there is no denying that a huge population of our world is using social media. So what are they using it for? I'm interested to know what the definition of social actually is.
Yeah,
that's what I think, because it's changed, I reckon.
And look, it sparked the conversation a little bit, because last night I was at a wedding and I was with
being social,
and I was with a bit of a legend that's 10 years my senior, Lukic, and we were talking about social media and stuff like that. I felt it's good for us to talk about it. We're very passionate about how it works in our business, but I thought he had some really good points, and
they were.
And it was one of those things where you go, well, for all the goodness, has it taken away from the badness? And just thought I'd surface that up, and also have a chat with anyone who wants to interact with us as well. Have a bit of a chat about it, because you guys may find that it's improved your life a lot, or it's actually not improved your life with your kids sort of going mute on the couch and stuff like that. It's a really, really interesting topic. So here's the thing.
If we look back before the days of social media, let's look back 10 years ago.
Yep.
If we look back 10 years ago, how do we socially interact with people, right? I think that's important to note, because I know for us as a family, when we have a family dinner and when we have our friends over, we're not sitting there on our mobile devices. We're still being social. I think for me personally, I think social has taken over different areas where we probably already weren't being overly social anyway. Tom Panos actually posted a photo the other day. I had a bit of a laugh. And it was a whole bunch of guys reading newspapers. It looked like it was back in the 1960s or 70s.
Yep.
They were all on a train going to work, and they were all reading their newspapers. All that's changed is that newspaper has now been replaced with the mobile phone, and people are now on their social media. Like, I don't know whether they're on social media or they're reading the news or whatever they're doing on there, but that phone has replaced TV.
Yep.
That phone has replaced newspapers. That phone has not replaced time around the dinner table with the family for us. And that phone has not replaced time with our friends sitting around having drinks.
It's definitely replaced. Around the dinner table, I think you can say, like, even when you look at kids in restaurants these days stuck on their devices, I think parents used to say, children should be seen, not heard. They would sit at the dinner table, the kids would sit there, look around, be very, very bored, but they would be part of the conversation.
No, they weren't.
Yeah,
they weren't being social. They were running around, they were playing with toys, they were...
At a restaurant?
No,
At a restaurant,
disagree.
The kids were sitting there, they were sitting at the table, they'd talk to each other, they'd look around. Now they
were being told to be quiet, which is what we did when we sat at a dinner table with a whole bunch of adults.
Now each kid's playing with his big lumpy iPad, and they are not talking to each other. They are mute. They are just they're not interacting. And worse than that, they're and I guess we're talking about social media, so kids probably aren't going to be that social on social media. But I think definitely technology. And tonight you're pro social.
Yeah.
And tonight I'm negative social. But I think definitely it's taken away from a little bit of conversation with people where they're doing it.
Or has it made us smarter? Has it made us smarter? Because look, put it this way, all right? Just before we started, I was looking up some stats, as I said. Now, where would I have gone before, Mark, for those stats? If I couldn't jump onto the internet and I couldn't jump onto social media and do all that sort of stuff, I had that there at my fingertips. So not only that, I think social media is not there to replace your friends. You know, there's also a whole world of people out there as well that aren't in relationships and don't have friends, and so that's enabled that side of things for people as well. So, you know, I mean...
Well, you know, I think you could also say social's actually narrowed people's field of view, because the stuff that they're actually looking at is they're consuming more of what they're interested in, so they're actually not... So rather than being at a dinner table and having a conversation about general stuff,
yeah,
and then when you go out to dinner or see a friend, you know about general stuff, now you're very narrow and targeted into the stuff you're talking about because of social media. So you're not having a good old-fashioned rounded conversation because you're very acutely minded as to what you've been looking at on social media, because that channel's been moulded around you and what you're after. For instance, I looked at solar... I was looking just on eBay and Google on solar for a house.
Yeah.
Because I'm a nerd. and next thing you know, my social media feed, Facebook, Insta, and LinkedIn is people with solar energy, stuff, trying to sell stuff to me.
But how good's that?
It's very good. But what I'm saying is, in that time that I was dedicated, I would have actually been sitting with friends, having a barbecue, having a chat about stuff, and learnt about stuff. But now suddenly I'm a solar expert and all my time and energy is going towards solar. So I reckon it's dangerous because you're more acutely focused on shit that you want, and you can't just have a good old-fashioned chat with your friends.
But that's it, just being built around you. I mean, you're not going to do that while you've got your mates over and you're watching the tennis. You know, like you're not going to be sitting there on your social media flicking through solar panels. The whole social media, the whole reason that social media was actually developed was so that people could interact with their family and friends. If you think back, I don't know when Facebook first started, but if you think back to when it did originate, it was originally there so that people could connect on Facebook with old family and friends. I mean, I remember when I initially jumped onto my Facebook account, I could not believe that through that phone I was able to connect with people that I'd not seen from school in 25 years. Like, where the hell am I going to be able to find these people?
Good point.
How else am I going to be able to do that?
Find and follow.
Okay, but reconnect. Like, what did we do in the good old days?
Call the person?
But where? Like, I wouldn't even know where to have found that person.
You'd speak to someone you know instead of
they'd be gone. You'd bump into someone in the street and say, "Hey,
Mary, have you got Mary's number?" You'd call Mary. You'd have dinner with Mary. You'd catch up with Mary. How would you know?
No, you would not. No. The whole reason that social media was created was so that people could interact with family and friends. That's where it started. Now, where it's moved to now is a whole different level.
And my point of view is it's made you less social.
No, I disagree. I think there's so many different facets to it now. I think we need to redefine what social actually means these days, because how we used to socially interact and want to socially interact back then in the olden days and how we now want to do it are two very different things. They're two very different things, you know, like these days it's very, very different the way we want to socially interact. You want to have a chat with your mates about the solar panels that are going to go onto our roof.
Yep.
And then you want to be able to jump online and say, "Hey, Damien, did you know blah, 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 blah." This is how we socially interact these days. It's very, very different. Not only that, it's obviously branched out onto a business network as well.
But what about when mum, dad and the kids used to watch something on television?
We still do.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
everyone's on their phones.
Yeah, we watched it.
Everyone's on their phones.
We watch it with two devices. We've got the TV in front of us, and then we're watching what we really want to watch on our screen.
That's right. So you're not doing it. So you're not as social with your family.
Yeah, hang on a sec. If we were putting on the bloody Wizard of Oz 10 years ago,
so we'd say
we were all sitting there watching a movie that we didn't want to watch, that we weren't talking to each other anyway.
But you're doing it together.
So we're still doing it together. We're just on our devices, doing what we want.
Zone.
We're on our devices. We're doing what we want. Look, I think at the end of the day, are we being over? I don't think the realms of socialness have changed. What I think has changed is I think the definition of social needs to change. That's the difference these days. Social media, when it first started out, was really just Facebook. That was when I think back. I mean, I can't, before that I think there was like WeChat and all that stuff that I didn't really understand. But when social media, when I think about where it first started, I think Facebook, and I believe that was quite a social network. These days it's branched out. There's so many different facets to it. It's more than just that now. It's more than just that. It's a business platform now as well.
So that, again,
it's an
mate of mine I was talking last night at the
tool.
wedding. I was having a chat at the wedding with Nick, and he was being social. I wasn't on my phone.
He was on his phone.
Actually, was
actually go to Mark's Facebook and go to his Instagram while he was at the wedding, and you'll see how social he was
2
being.
minutes, but the rest of the time I was talking to people.
Yeah.
Now, when I was talking to Nick, he said, "I don't put me on Facebook."
Why?
And he said,
but that's old school, man.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he want to be on Facebook?
Doesn't want that information out there.
About what?
Himself.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Look, I think that that's the thing that he's
There's
obviously
a lot of people like that.
I don't know. I actually don't know who you're talking about, but he's obviously not in business either.
Yeah, he is. You think it's foreign because you're so social, but a lot of people out there are not comfortable with their identity being out there online for everyone to be able to attack.
Well, guess what?
So it's what
ATO, your bank.
Yep.
Like all these things are out there. They're all out there. Like it's all out there. It's all public knowledge. I hate to be the bearer of bad news for him.
If you've just tuned in, we're having a chat about social media, the benefits, the pros and cons.
Yeah.
Lisa's pro social, and for the argument's sake, I'm negative social. We're talking about the benefits of it. I guess it's pretty interesting.
Look, it's just. Again, from my perspective, social media is not there. It should not replace critical things in a person's life. It should not replace good quality time with your family. I know, Mark, when we sit down to a dinner table, which is not often, to be honest, because of the crazy life that we lead, but we do have structure. There are certain nights where it's not negotiable that we'll sit down at a dinner table with our children and have dinner. There are no phones at that table at that time.
There's no magic in that. That's like one meal out of but I'm saying all the other meals, there's 21 meals a week. I'm saying majority meals, I can guarantee you that people are sitting looking at their phone. So whether it's breakfast, whether it's lunch, whether it's dinner, I'm saying the quality conversation. We used to say to your work colleague, do you want to grab something for lunch together? You're now happy just to sit there with your mobile phone and eat a pasta or eat a 2-minute noodle.
People sat on their own before. They just read a paper.
But they're more clone.
They read a paper these days.
Now to actually, that's right, they'd read a paper or whatever, but now people are less, there's so much entertainment on social.
There's so much more information.
People are interacting less with their work colleagues, their buddies, or they'd have a conversation with someone at lunch. They don't do that anymore. They go on social.
No.
People are less social.
No, I disagree. The
community's worse for it.
I think that it gets a big bashing because it's replaced a lot of stuff that we used to revert to. So we would be sitting on a computer at work. We would be reaching for a newspaper at lunchtime. It's just replaced a lot of this stuff. I mean, I can't remember the last time I went into a news agency, bought a newspaper and read that, or a magazine,
because
right?
Because of social media.
Because
you've ruined news agencies' social media. You've ruined them.
Because what I want and what I need is there on my phone, and it's built for me.
Playboy magazine.
Like iconic shopping.
Iconic?
It could be, this is the thing.
Herald.
I mean, look, I think it's, not only that, it's also, there's
car
so many
magazines.
positives to it as well.
All the car magazines are gone.
It's a sharing of ideas. It's a way that people can, date, I guess, if they're single. I mean, there's so many other facets that it has to offer as well.
It's information. Good old-fashioned talking to a girl in a bar.
It's information.
Now they're doing it on Tinder.
It's information at your fingertips as well, and I think that's the critical thing. Where would our business be without it? So let's take our model for a moment. Let's take Novak.
We had a great business before social.
Let's take Novak and see where it would be if we removed social media out of it. Now, I remember, Mark, we used to spend a fortune in the newspaper with advertising. Guess what? We didn't even know whether or not it worked. These days we can track those responses.
People say that, but that's crap, because where we used to spend a fortune in newspapers, now we're spending a fortune on social.
I wonder.
So are we any better for it? Because we are still investing as much.
Yeah, but guess what we can do differently now? We can track the responses. Because before...
We can track the response before.
Nonsense. What would you do? You'd ask, excuse me, can I just ask how you heard about that property?
I just saw in the newspaper,
Nonsense.
I wanted to ask this question.
Okay, and that was was completely inaccurate anyway, because half the time people just simply couldn't remember. Whereas these days, you pop an ad up onto social media, you can track it instantly.
So
Listen, he knows that I'm right.
So
anyway.
so you reckon we're a better society?
No, we're a different society.
Better?
In some ways, yes.
I reckon a lot of people. No,
I'm not
asking about.
Yes,
of course, some ways. But are we a better society?
In some ways, we are. I think social media
no?
I think social media gets blamed for a lot of things.
It does.
That were potentially always there.
Are we better with social or worse with social media?
Social media gets blamed.
What do you guys reckon? Tell us what you reckon.
Social media gets blamed for a lot of the issues in society today that were always there that people didn't know about, because guess what? They didn't have social media to revert to find the answers. That's why they blame a lot of. And I don't know. I'm no doctor. I'm no psychologist.
So are we better with social, or as a society now, better or worse?
I think.
You're thinking about it. There you go. We're actually worse. That's the answer.
This is my opinion. There's parts of me that says yes, we are, and there's parts of me that say I believe we need to go back to our good old-fashioned ways. And by that I mean that communication cannot always be via social media. For me personally, I'm big on human interaction. I think picking up the telephone, catching up with people face to face, cannot be replaced on social media.
I reckon we're worse because of social media.
I think a good balance.
We're worse.
He doesn't believe this. I swear he doesn't believe it.
No, I meant to take the stand.
He does, exactly. We're interested to see how many screen hours per day are people spending. Okay, Ray, let me tell you something.
Yeah, this lady's...
Mark and I track this heavily.
She's taking this.
I don't know whether this is a good thing or a bad
level,
thing.
Ray. It's terrible. See, Ray reckons we're worse. And Ray's a very good brommer. He's got a doctorate in philosophy.
I just want to say my best or worst day looking at my screen time, and I say that
she's actually proud of this.
Some people are going to think this is psychotic, and some people are going to think this is incredible.
Ray Price is the man of reason. He'll tell you straight away.
Yeah.
If he says it's worse, it's worse. Society's worse because of social.
16 and a half hours was my biggest amount of screen time. I don't actually know when I slept.
That included sleep and 2 hours of driving and children and husband.
On average,
and an hour of exercise.
I can say that Mark and I, on average, are spending about 9 to 10 hours.
You speak for yourself. I reckon social media is bad.
Okay, do you know what? That's a bloody good question. How many hours of what's your screen time look like, Mark? And what's your number one app on your mobile device? That's what I want to know.
I just do phone calls. I just use my iPhone for calls.
The facts. What's your number one app on your device? And there lays the truth, friends and family.
It still doesn't mean society's better because I'm a box set on my phone.
Okay, well, what do you truly believe? What do you truly believe? Do you truly believe
tonight you're meant to be pro-social and I'm meant to be anti-social?
Do you truly believe that we are a worse off society as a result of this? I'm keen to know, guys. Seriously,
what happened to fucking date night? What happened to date night on Tuesday nights with your loved one? That's gone as well because you're just looking at your mobile phone.
Got replaced with no.
What happened to Tuesday night movies?
Hey, this is our date night.
What happened to Tuesday night movies when
you? This is our date night. What happened?
It said bad sound on there.
Text
message and Yahoo email CC.
Text message and Yahoo email today.
Social media killed the date night.
No.
That is terrible for relationships. I feel sick.
No, listen, I think we just got old. Just wanted to spend whatever time we have at home on the lounge on our phones.
What about soccer games with little Johnny? How many parents are on their mobile phones when they're meant to be watching sport with their children?
Yeah, they've now got cameras. They've now got the ability to share the photos of little Johnny playing soccer on a field.
They missed Johnny kick the goal because they were on their phone checking their social media.
All I want to say is, if tomorrow came and social media was wiped off the face of the earth, I reckon we'd be a very, very lost society. That's what I believe.
And better off.
Personally and business-wise, I think we'd be a lost society without it. I truly do. I think it's so inbred in us now. There's the stats, Mark. 3 billion people, 40% of the world's population.
Doesn't mean that it's right.
Is now on social media.
It doesn't mean that it's better.
It is ingrained. We
drink Coke. We drink how much Coca-Cola we drink. Does it mean we're a better society from it?
It's ingrained into our day-to-day society.
How much Coke we drink?
We're
not any better for it, Lisa. The numbers don't matter. Just because people are consuming it doesn't mean that it's good.
We don't know that now.
Back me up, Ray.
Listen, all I want to say is it's an indispensable tool. It's here and it's here to stay. And, are we a better or a worse off society for it?
Ray's poor little children are on there 7 hours a day on their screen time, and they're 11 and 13.
7 hours, wow.
Yeah, you're going to lose time with your children, buddy. It's going to go to the other
way.
Your wife's going to be taking them now. She takes that information to the courts.
Growing up, how were you spending time with your parents? I want to know, like the honest-to-God truth.
I was gardening cucumbers and tomatoes and watering them in the backyard. It was a very honest life. I had 3 goats and 2 chickens. I used to talk to them. We were good friends. A very wholesome upbringing I had. There was no screen time when I grew up. I was mowing the lawn, washing the car.
Slave labour is what that is. That's slave labour.
I was braiding my sister's hair.
The reality, guys, is that the word social, I think, has changed. And
we're a worse society, Lisa.
I think we've just got to accept that has now changed. That we're still a very social society. We're just social in very, very different ways. And I believe that it's a necessity in our life these days.
Look, I believe you've taken away, with social media, you've taken away good old-fashioned manners. With social media, you've taken away good old-fashioned conversation. People are finding it difficult to sit and meet someone and have a good old-fashioned conversation because they're spending more time on their bloody mobile.
Well, put your phone down.
And instead of having professional conversations and nice conversations with, this morning, I talked with someone, who was it? And they were saying that they're a kook because they, it was Nick. It was actually Nick again, Mr. Nick Lukich. He was saying his wife gets upset with him because he says hello to people. And I said, funny that, my wife says the same thing, something like that. Because I go for a walk in the morning and I say hello to everyone, and Lisa thinks it's weird that I say hello to everyone. No, I don't
think it's weird that you say hello. I think it's upset. I think it's weird how you get upset when they don't say hello back.
Yeah, but my point is, social media is taking those tools away. Like those good old, how you feel a bit nervous to say hello to someone or what to say or what's next in the conversation. People feel that.
Maybe that's because you spend too much time on social media.
If you do more social media and less of like ice-breaking shit, you don't become good at ice-breaking anymore. You don't talk to people. So that's what he was saying. He sits on a bus and says hello to people and they look at him like a weirdo. But,
That is a bit weird, though, like to sit on a bus and say hi to people. I think morning walks and things like that, I think that's acceptable if it's early morning. But I think if you're sitting on a bus or a train and just walking around saying hi to people, I reckon that's in the realms of weird. Sorry, Nick.
What's happened to society?
I just do.
That's
Nothing's
because of
happened
social
to society.
media. It's
We're
ruined
evolving.
it. You see that talking to someone in a
way.
bus was just normal. Now social media's killed it.
That was never normal. Guys, back me up. That was never normal. All right. So look, I think that it's unanimous that social media is here to stay. This is the new realms of normal. Mark, you lost. I won. And
hey, who do you reckon won on this one? Do you reckon I won on the social media? Ray would say I won it for sure. Yeah, look, he said, Mark, you won.
He did not. He's giving thumbs up to me. Go, Mark.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that.
Ray.
Interesting, guys. But
right,
so what's the bottom line? Do we? I guess at the end of the day, if we reckon we're consuming a shitload of social media, get ready for the next couple of years. It's going to go nuts.
Yeah, I'm more interested to know where it's heading, because right now it is without a doubt consuming our lives. I don't believe that we actually could live without it now. And I mean that on a positive note, not on a psychotic note.
I found our relationship's been worse since you've gone to social media. The good old-fashioned hug and pash that we used to do 3 times a night's gone.
That's weird. That's weird. He didn't really mean that.
The embrace of a woman, bosoms in your chest is gone because of social media.
That's weird. That's weird. All right, guys, let's cap off. So,
what about going to the movies and having a popcorn with your girlfriend?
We just got old. We just got old and tired. That's all.
Now, social, I'm
We
telling
just got
you,
old
seriously,
tight.
social media has screwed it.
Yeah.
It's screwed
Well,
some
we
good
could- do you
old-fashioned
know what?
things.
Why don't-
Good old-fashioned things they used to do.
We can go out for dinner tomorrow night and we'll bring our phones and we'll get on our devices.
But good
tonight.
old-fashioned things used to do have been replaced by social.
Yeah.
Not effectively. Like
That's by choice,
movies.
though. Sorry.
Movies
that-
at the cinema.
No, that's by choice. That's
The
by choice.
drive-in moving cinema.
That's by choice.
In 1960.
All right, guys, let's talk a little bit about what's happening this week. Are we done with that topic now? I think we're done with that.
Bah. Anyway, I won. Race that I won, so we're done. So anyway, if you just tuned in, what I did win was...
Whatever. Typical Leo. Seriously.
What I did win was social media. We're not any better for it. That was the argument that I took. Lisa took arguing. Social media is
we
good
definitely
for
are.
it, and that was interesting.
Yeah, we definitely are.
Real estate shit.
All right, guys, this week, this is, it's been a big week, right? We've got a lot of new stock coming on.
Heaps.
That's one thing that we've noticed. So, and we did call it at the end of last year. We were saying end of Jan is really when the real estate season has officially begun. And begun it has.
Oh, hardcore.
So, yeah,
I think
lots of new stock.
people don't like to launch their property on the market if they're doing an auction with a public holiday in between. So literally this weekend was that first free weekend where it was just free balling. A lot of properties come on. I looked at the numbers today. We got down to 390 properties through the festive season.
Yeah.
Down from 800 at this time last year. I think now we're coming back up to, it was pretty big. I think it was 490. So we're numbers are coming back. Much stronger.
Yes.
There's a lot more stock on.
Yeah, correct. So vendors, the message to you guys is if you're sitting on the sidelines looking to sell, get your properties on the market now, because what happens, real estate works with supply and demand. So the more stock that's going to push through onto the market, that's going to start to plateau out those property prices. So still really good opportunity to get your properties on the market now. We're still seeing really good prices as well. And also we've got a huge mix of stock coming on, everything from tiny one-bedders all the way up to some beautiful homes. But yeah, there's some really good stock coming on. Of course, it always launches out first onto social media. So there's another benefit right there. So make sure that you're following us on social.
We just bought a property.
Yeah.
Well, Lisa bought it. But the point is with that, to tell people, is bought a little unit, freshwater,
little investment.
865,000, rented out for 620 a week.
Yep. As
real estate professionals, School of Hard Knocks, we believe it's a good time to buy. We've bought ourselves.
Yeah.
One thing that I was surprised with was it was a 3.5% interest rate that we got, which was as an investor loan.
Which is really good.
Money's cheap.
Yeah, money's cheap. Yeah,
and you know what? It's interesting to be quoting those figures to clients, but to actually be enjoying those interest rates yourself when you're asking for a loan. It's like, shit, is money really that cheap?
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah,
no, it is. It's good. So good time to buy, good time to sell. And also, look, a little trick there is we actually waited right until the end of the year to buy. And
it's a good trick. Tell us the trick, please.
The reason that we did that, what did I say? Is he leaving?
The trick.
The reason that we actually did wait right until the end of the year, in fact, we bought around that Christmas, New Year period, is because often a lot of people that are still sitting on the market at that time really do need to sell. Or they've been sitting on the market for quite some time. So it's rare that new stock's going to come on right at Christmas or right at New Year. And so that is always a really great opportunity to buy property as well. 2.99% investor, Frank saying. Hey, Frank. Hope everyone's well, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Frank.
All right, I think that's about it. I feel like we've been on for ages,
property.
have we? So
hey, another one as well, because I was at this wedding last night.
I need to have a little sip of water. Sorry, I've talked too much.
Because I was at this wedding last night, I was like, I cannot believe, I was being looked at by two young strapping men.
I thought I was going to say women, then I was like, really? Oh.
And they were looking at me point blank, saying, I can't believe that you can get money, Frank. How are you, bud? I can't believe that you can buy a unit in DY for 530,000. I'm saying, yes, you can.
Can you imagine? Like, I can see, I've got some of my eastern suburbs mates watching. If we equated that to Bondi, what the hell? Like,
it's cheap.
You know, but if
cheap.
you were going to buy a one better in Bondi, Mark, you'd be talking about $1 million.
So these two whippersnappers are 21 and 23. They have monster deposits.
Yeah.
Monster. Hard workers. They work 7 days a week. Monster deposits. They're looking at me point blank saying, no, I don't know. And I'm saying, yeah, and you're going to rent it.
Yeah.
And whatever you rent it for, your interest rates are going to be, when you do a Strata Water Council and your interest rates, you're still going to make a profit out of it. And they're going, don't believe you. They still didn't work out. And I said, you're not going to have to pay any stamp duty, which is about 20 grand. And he's like, nah. And I'm like, and all you need, so they've got these monster deposits, and I said, keep your monster deposit and just put 25 grand in.
Yeah.
And they were like, what do you mean? I said, no stamp duty.
It's crazy.
25 grand deposit.
Yeah.
You can buy a unit with your income. And they were looking at me, and I'm thinking, these are clever
These guys are paying
kids.
$600-700 a week in rent.
It's cheaper for them. Clever.
It's cheaper for them to just pay off their mortgage.
Great jobs.
Yeah.
Great
It's
deposit.
unbelievable.
Haven't bought it, and you go, oh, you know what? I think he was talking about buying in Ballina or Ballarat or something, and I brought up the stats, and I said,
my God, that drives me crazy when
why?
people say that. They're like, I think you're buying up in far north Queensland. It's like, what? No. You know, the rule of thumb is stick to your knitting, always buy what's under your nose, what you understand. The biggest rookie errors I reckon we've seen in our business is when people start buying out of area. They're like, oh, my friend told me that I should buy something in Brisbane. It's like, oh God, no. You know, always buy in an area that you're familiar with. That is the best way to buy. Hold it forever. Don't ever sell it. Don't you think, Mark?
Big time. And then don't overthink it. Like the amount of thinking that these guys have done, and that they don't even get the basics. Do you know what I mean? Like talking about buying Ballina. And I said, you know, I'm like almost like a cousin to them. And I'm like, come into the office, sit down, I'll give you some scenarios.
Good old-fashioned advice.
Good old-fashioned advice, just picking up the phone.
Not on social media, face-to-face. Is that what you mean? Yeah. Yeah.
You can't get that on social.
Human interaction.
At the wedding, we talked. We didn't Tinder and look at social media.
Get on Mark's social media from last night. You'll see how much he talked. He was on social media, I promise you. All right, guys, let's finish up. I think it's been a nice long segment tonight, and I'm excited for this week. Can I just throw in there that on Friday, I'm going to be speaking with Tom Panos, John McGrath, and Mr. Josh Tesselin. Going to be doing Kickstart 2020. I'm very excited about that, talking about social media. What do you know? Selling properties on social media. So super excited for that, guys. I think there may still be some tickets available. Go onto the Real Estate Gym, Tom Panos. And tomorrow I'm excited. I'm talking to Lang & Simmons Network and a whole lot of other agents about selling properties on social media as well with Leanne Pilkington.
While I'm at the office paying the bills.
She's the president of the REI NSW. No, but, that's...
What?
Seriously.
It's 2 out of 4 days.
Okay,
Two out of 5 days.
Can I just say the reason? But the reason that I've been asked to do this,
it's community. You just donating to the community, the real estate community, the love.
But it's also verification.
You're paying back.
But it's also verification of the sales that I've been doing off the back of social media as well. I'm happy that it's been recognised on a national scale. I'm excited. Looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow and Friday.
I'm
a cracker week.
I'm proud of Lise though for that.
Social media, yes.
Like in all seriousness, Lisa, 18 months ago, was barefoot in the kitchen. And
I don't think I've ever been barefoot in my life.
And now, look at her, she's pregnant and barefoot in the kitchen.
Pregnant is definitely not on the table.
Now she's like corporate ice maiden weapon.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show.
Ice maiden, what?
So,
oh my God!
So it just goes to show for all you women out there.
So
all you women out there that are thinking that that you'd like to be a career woman, just follow this lady. She's done so well.
Thank you.
She's good. No, but all seriousness, well done, Lise.
Better than you, Mark. Love you, Ray.
She has done really well. She's smashing it, and pretty proud. So people should go and see. They don't have to be business. They don't have to be real estate agents to go to Kickstart.
No, you don't.
If you want to go to
I'm not sure that it's not sold out though, but check it out, guys. Real Estate Gym. I'll be on with
even if you see any training that Lisa's doing nationally, you can always just hop on the bandwagon. You don't have to be a real estate agent, because most of that stuff, whether you're a mortgage broker, a solicitor, an accountant, a lot of that stuff that you're teaching can be applied to different businesses, different aspects.
Yeah.
So Yeah, it's interesting stuff.
Yeah, no, it's good.
And,
It's
we've got
exciting.
the blog. We've got the Novak blog.
Yes.
Keep writing there Novak, and then writing there Lisa.
Yeah,
Novak,
just ask
and keep it on
questions.
the blog.
I get asked lots and lots by people from all different walks of life, and I'm always happy to
Yeah.
help when I can. So exciting week ahead, guys. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. Are we done?
We're done.
We're done. See, that was kind of like a date night on social media.
I'm telling you, we're not better with social media, guys. It's a worse society.
He doesn't believe that. He's
Yeah.
just pretending that he
Look
does.
at our
but he doesn't
21-year-old
really believe
daughter.
it.
Yeah.
She's standing here watching us. All right, guys, good night. Have a great week, everybody. And can I just say as well that our condolences go out to, this has been a very, very sad start to the year. And our condolences have to go out to all of those families as well. It's been a horrendous start to the year for a lot of people.
And the family that lost 3 kids, like
Yeah.
on Sunday, like that's,
No.
very sorry to hear, guys.
Yeah, beyond
Bless,
comprehension.
bless, bless.
Yeah. See you guys.
Say bye.